Mike, I think when you go back in your career, portion of my career, you think about how important it is to help older adult homeowners. It's a very broad phrase, tens of millions of them. And ultimately, you want to provide them with the products and services and solutions that will improve their lifestyle, that will help them ultimately achieve their goals, whatever their goals are. You talked before, Mike, about the fact that the purchase reverse mortgage product has not succeeded. It's failed. We know what's happened in the reverse mortgage industry more broadly. Um, there hasn't been growth since the peak back in 2008, 2009. In fact,
It's just
yeah, just yeah, you described it well. And I think sometimes you have to ask yourself what's wrong. And ultimately, it just comes down to, while we know older adult homeowners will access home equity in order to generate those income benefits, those health benefits that will help them more successfully age in place, there are just certain types of products that they just don't want to entertain.
yeah.
Debt, reverse mortgages, we know the story. So sometimes you have to come up with the products that people want. And when you have a conversation with an advisor and that advisor's client, and you ask them the following question: how comfortable do you feel selling your $1 million house and downsizing to a $500,000 house and using that $500,000 that you just monetized to improve your retirement outcomes going forward, buying annuities, buying long-term care, whatever it is? And the answer is very comfortable. So you think about that for a second and you say, okay, so they're comfortable selling their home equity to buy the kind of critically important retirement oriented insurance and investment products that will help them achieve their goals. Well, is there any difference than staying in that $1 million house, selling 30% of it, and doing the exact same thing? And when it's positioned that way, I think advisors and their clients get the joke.
Yeah.
There are better ways to access the largest asset we have to improve my outcomes without taking on obligations. And obligations are, of course, debt and other debt-like products. So, thank God, Dan and I decided to spend a lot of time thinking about, what advisors want, what their clients want, the products that are in the marketplace, distribution that's in the marketplace. But ultimately, it just comes down to really understanding your customer.
Yeah.
And when you really understand your customer, and let's face it, insurance and financial advisors understand their customer. They've got decades of trust with their customers. Now we can all help them serve their clients better. And if we're successful in doing that, we've obviously succeeded.
Absolutely. And two words that Dan used 2 or 3 times, but in the middle of a sentence. So I just want to stress it before we go off the air. CHEIFS is a non-debt product. It is a non-debt product. You are being handed a 6-figure check. My God, I'm sure you would you do $1 million on a $3 million house? It could be a 7-figure check.
We have.
Okay, so you're being handed a 6 or a 7-figure check. There's no related debt service. There's not a payment next month. There's not a balloon in 3 years. It's. I know I keep saying the same thing, but it's a life changer. It is an absolute life changer / market disruptor when it comes to financial planning, and probably at a time in this country where has never been able to, is needed it the most. I can't think at my ripe old age, at least in my lifetime, of a time that there are more people in their 40s and 50s right now going, what the hell am I going to do to make it the next 30, 40 years? And there's got to be more people asking that question. But I bought my house 12 years ago, and I have $700,000 in equity. Well, if you don't do anything with it, sounds good, but that's about all it does. sound good. It's time to do something with it.